So, can I still do the link and everything from there?
Yeah. It's all good.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We got a very special guest. You might have seen him before. He's Scottish Korean, and he was all over Sky News. He came on the television with bacon.
I love bacon.
Yeah, man. So welcome, brother. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. How many people are watching this just now?
Just already 50 people just joined. 52 people, 54 just coming up.
52 people. You guys are amazing. Like,
Yeah,
this is crazy. Thank you so
yeah.
much. I'm super humbled by all this, by the way. It's just what a crazy experience.
Yeah, man. I'll send you the link. So we just boom, just send it over to you. You check your phone real quick. I'll get
Right,
this thing
okay, hang
going.
on. Where's the link? Okay, x.com. Can you still see me?
All right, everybody.
Yeah.
If you have questions too, we're about to get started here. In the comment section, feel free to ask any questions you guys like. Melody Moses, I laughed so hard when I saw the video of him on Sky News. Yeah,
I can't see the comments. That's a shame.
you can't see. All right, don't worry about it though, bro. I got you, man. I'll go ahead and ask him, man. Don't even worry about it. You still here? Oh, okay, I think he'll join right back, guys. Love from India. What's up, brother? Well, welcome aboard. We're about to get started. And he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, it's almost as a disaster as Sky News, but not as bad, you know. Hopefully, I don't get anybody fired this time.
No, I hope not, man. I hope not. So talk to me, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You just got on social media, is that correct? Like 3 weeks back?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, I just decided to, just go onto social media and see what happens. And now I'm a fugitive. I'm a criminal. I'm a British citizen, so I've got an arrest warrant. So I'm hiding out in Thailand. So as you can see, this is I've just escaped Australia. I thought I was going to get arrested at the airport, but I'm still around, and I'll see how long I can go before I'm in jail, and then you guys are gonna, raise a bacon fund to try and bail me out.
Nah, man. I hope not, man. Once I actually spoke at a Tommy Robinson event in last year, and ever
Yeah.
since then, I've been scared to go back, man. I've been scared to go back and I want to go back. I want to go back to England, but they just seem pretty crazy the way they're arresting people, man, out there. I never would have thought England would. If you would have told me this 2 years back that England's like this, I would have. You could think maybe it's going to get like this, but the fact that it actually got like this is insanity.
Right. Yeah, we're ground zero. We're ground zero for the Islamic problem, and I think people are ready to fight back. Uh, if you've just seen, I've just released a video literally before this, so I'm glad things started a bit later, because we've literally just had an MP defending and wanting a bill for cousin marriages, for inbreeding. Literally. Oh, can you believe it? For inbreeding. Like, which culture does this? There's no culture that does that inbreeds. Like, it's just against nature. It's not a white problem. It's not. It's just them. It's just this ridiculous Southeast. I hate saying Asian. They're not real Asians. I'm just gonna say Pakistanis and whatever. That region. They're not. We're the real Asians. Like Chinese, Japanese, Koreans. Those are like the. Those are like the. Yeah, they're the dishonorable ones, and they are inbreeding, and now they're wanting in British law to have a law for inbreeding to make first cousin marriage. It's just disgusting.
So were you born in South Korea? Is that where you were
Yeah.
born?
I'm kimchi Korean, as they say.
Yo, bro,
Yeah.
I love kimchi, man. I'll have kimchi for breakfast because of how good it is for the gut microbiome. I'm 45, man, so I'm trying to age, nice, and the kimchi, the sauerkraut, those are some of my favorite go-to foods for the gut.
It's really good stuff. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Super
man, it's
good.
very good.
Yeah.
So you were born in South Korea, and then what?
3 months I came over. 3 months, and then I came over with my mom. I didn't really have a choice. She brought me over. and now I talk a lot of shit, and I might be going to jail. So I'm not sure if it was a good decision or no. I'm joking. I love the UK. You know, the UK. We have some of the. I think we have some of the most incredible history. It's not my ancestors, but like the British people are just incredible. They are the original badasses of the world. You know, they had the biggest empire in the world. They fought slavery and ended it in 1807 with William Wilberforce. They fought 2 world wars, and that's the reason they lost their empire. And I can't think of a better ending and legacy to any empire. I'm so proud of British people, and their culture. It's world class, and it's an absolute disgrace what's going on just now, which is why I went on the Sky News, and she was like, "So what do you think about Charlie Kirk?" And I was just like, "Muslims, Islam is the problem in the UK, and a holy war's coming."
Man, actually, the thing is, I want to pull up the clip of where you got kicked off because I feel like it was so surreal. And if it's all right, I'd love to just like get like a little bit of a play-by-play of how it was like for you, you know?
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, pull this up, man. Share screen here. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, because this is like, bro, this was I mean, this was like I feel like it was just epic how hard you went, you know? All right, 1 second here, just get the all right.
Which was never published to online platforms.
Okay, so just real quick. So what exactly
What's that?
how did you
British Dad.
you know who that is?
No, but that's a pretty big channel.
Yeah, that's pretty big channel. I've never seen this one. So let's see what this guy says here.
And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Brand new Sky News host Freya Leach has been forced to apologise after a guest wore bacon on his shirt for a quote-unquote bit of protection from terrorists and went on a wild anti-Islamic rant. Leach's new program, Freya Fires Up, is now under review after she invited controversial influencer Ryan Williams on as a guest last night. Williams, who was introduced by Leach as a social media sensation and conservative political strategist, wore bacon over his shoulders during the program, which was never published to online platforms. Now, we're going to get to the video in a moment, but it was understood that Williams had been invited onto the show to comment on Charlie Kirk's assassination. Williams was asked one question about Kirk and the fallout from his murder, but didn't give a response.
Is that so far pretty accurate? What the guy's saying?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm concerned about British people and British culture. Charlie Kirk is an absolute hero, but there's plenty of people to speak up for him. I'm no expert. I have no, I have no say or anything on that. All I can say is he's an absolute hero, and it's a tragedy. But it would be a dishonor for me to like really say anything because who am I to speak about that? I'm a nobody. But I can disrespect Muslims all day long. So that's what I'm here to do.
Okay. All right, let's get back into it.
Instead, he went on to air and speak about anti-Islamic viewpoints. Williams ranted that the UK faced the threat of Islamic invasion every day and claimed Britain's second biggest city, Birmingham, has a Muslim majority. Now, let's get into this video, and then we're going to be getting into the response, of course, from Sky News. But first, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. Have a watch.
Well, I mean, the reason I've got bacon on my shoulders is because the terrorists are a charming lot and they threaten to behead me every single day. So a little bit of protection. But I've got to say, you know, I'm from the UK. We have the threat nearly every single day from Islam invasion. Our second biggest city, Birmingham, is already majority Muslim. Our mayor of London is Muslim. And the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, is Muslim. And I just have a very clear, simple message to Muslims, which is, stop worshipping a pedo warlord who's a Bonnie Blue of the 7th century, sleeping with 30 Al Zoot men, who married a six-year-old and slept with a 9-year-old. And there's only one culture that pours acid on women's faces. There's only one culture that makes women cover their faces so other men don't rape them.
Been told we do have to apologize for what was just aired, those comments earlier, but we're going to continue now.
Also, leave the goats alone.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Sky News.
So the goats part, did you say that also, or is that just a
No,
whole nother?
I just had to add it in, you know.
Oh, so would they just accidentally put you back on, and then you just went hard one more second?
No. That's my clip. That's a separate clip.
Oh,
Can you
got it, man.
imagine if they put me back on?
Yeah.
After that? Excuse me, can you come back on, Ryan? I mean, like, we'll give you another chance. Don't screw this up.
Yeah, right. Yo, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So in South Korea, where do they have this issue with the terrorism? It's like here in Germany, it's a massive problem. Okay, massive. And in America, it's not so much. In America, we have a big problem at the border with the Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party has basically sending invaders through our borders. And Trump, to his credit, has done amazing at making it much harder for the migrants to come inside. But you also have Iranians, you have Chinese, and they're just coming in. They're just coming in through our border, and it's a massive problem right now in America. And there's talks of sleeper units inside, and potentially a terrorist attack right around the corner. It's very alarming, and it's a matter of just, or how invaded are we here now in South Korea? You have the Chinese Communist Party has, I'm no expert in the Asia Pacific with South Korea in regards to China. That's why I would love to hear what you have to say. But my understanding of it is that in South Korea, you had election interference recently by the Chinese Communist Party, and there's a big division right now in South Korea among which direction do they go. Is that a little bit accurate? Not at all accurate? Or please elaborate, because you're actually South Korean. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Well, we're messed up people. So I mean, half our race is North Korean. So we've got a lot of terrorists. We're pointing fingers at like, oh, the Muslims, but to be honest, the Koreans are the real problems. We fuck up every single day. We can't look at anybody else because it's like our own people, and we're just like shit. As I said, people hate each other, not because they're actually different. It's actually similarities that make people, fight each other a lot. Like North and South Korea, Protestants and Catholics, Sunni and Shia Muslims. Who kills the most amount of Muslims? Other Muslims. Like even football teams in Scotland, it's like Celtic and Rangers that are at each other's throats. So like Korea, we have internal problems. We have like we're dealing with other Koreans, like the best of the Koreans are dealing with the worst of the Koreans, if you know what I mean. Jelly bean. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So there was a lot of South Koreans, though. They were doing rallies outside of the Chinese embassy, right? I mean, they were pretty pissed off, it seemed like, about the leader is Lee Ji-myung. Is that how you say it?
Koreans
Lee
are very
Ji-myung?
angry people, and we're very famous for protests. I would say this, like, Korea is a small country, and we don't have economic power to be internationally persuasive. We do it through like K-pop, K-culture, K-dramas, and K-films, right? But China is like the big heavyweight. If China wants to take us out, we're gone. Like our race is just like, it's like a little match. Like we're gone. So to be honest, if I don't know how bad the election interference is, but it'd be my opinion, if China wanted to screw us, yeah, we would have to pick up the soap. It'd be bad.
Yeah, because it seems pretty bad. And it seems like in South Korea, they take the Chinese Communist flag and they basically tear it apart. Is that accurate? Is that a common sentiment among South Koreans? The Chinese Communist
Yeah,
Party?
we don't have very many allies. We don't like the Japanese because they colonized us, during World War II. We don't particularly like the Chinese because a lot of Koreans, they have a little bit of a superiority complex. They do a little bit better than their neighbors, and they're like, oh, the Chinese, they're so dirty and they're so uncivilized. Like we're just so much better. But it's bullshit. Really, Koreans, we have to remain humble for the fact that we're a small country, and economically we're not heavyweights at all. And we've just got Russia and Mongolia up to the north. But if you just think about it, we're like the kind of bukkake in the middle, right? Like we've got massive countries: Japanese Empire, China, Russia, Mongolia, like Korea. I don't know how we've survived this long, and we're a country split in half as well into North Korea and South Korea. So I don't know about the future of Korea, but it's terrifying. We've got the lowest birth rate in the world. We're going to be extinct by 2750. So Korean politics, I have no clue, but it's a FUBAR situation. FUBAR, fucked up beyond all recognition.
And then what? So with South Korea, would you say South Korea, like the Christianity, is that basically getting bigger in South Korea? Because it seems like there's a lot of Christians in South Korea, and I see the churches and so forth. They seem that they're very much into Christianity. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems pretty big. Or is that
Yeah,
just what I'm seeing?
we have a lot of
TV.
mental illness in South Korea, and
Yeah.
we've got like crazy cults going on, like movements like the mass marriages and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've never heard
no,
of it.
so
Yeah.
so
Please tell me.
we're Christian or Buddhist, but like Koreans have stepped it up a notch to like these crazy levels of weirdness, like Moomin religion, and there's Korean Jesus. It's all a bit odd. Me myself as a Christian, I don't, those kind of Christians in Korea, I find it very, very odd. But it's a country with the highest suicide rate. It's a very, fragmented, unhappy country in some ways. But, there's a lot of things that we can be proud about as well. We're a small nation. We have survived. We're fighters. And, the people are very upfront about immigration. When it comes to immigration, they're like economic collapse or immigration. And every single Korean just goes, economic collapse.
Yeah. Well, so like with the South Koreans, when they see what's going on in the Middle East, when they see what's going on with Israel and Hamas and the Iranian regime, and they see, just in general, when they just see the terrorism and stuff like that, is it generally is it a country that generally is pro-Palestine, or generally would you say it's because Israel and South Korea have a good relationship? But I'm just curious, like in general, like in the populace, is because CCP seems obviously like they're also popular there. So I'm just curious, is it a hard sentiment against Israel, or is it more empathetic, or would you say it's just evenly split like maybe some other countries, or how is it?
Koreans don't like losers, so we don't like Palestine. We'll never support this. We like winners. we like America, and we like countries that win, and are sensible. If you're going to be, pouring acid on women's faces and, putting them into letterboxes, this is obviously abhorrent to a Korean, and any Korean will just say straight up, that's shit culture and shit behavior. We'll just say direct. That's the good thing about Asians.
The directness of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no higher tier thinking of, oh, but maybe they haven't quite had the education or the opportunities in life and they've been oppressed. No, none of that. It's just like bullshit excuses. Koreans, we've had a tough time as well, but we got through it by not having a shit culture. They can have a tough time and get through it as well. No excuses. Just get your shit done. Pull your shit together. That's what we did after Japanese colonization.
Yeah, the Japanese and South Koreans, they to this day, do they have a good now in 2025? Would you say they overall have a good relationship considering the CCP is right there, or what's that dynamic like?
We like to make money, so that's it. That's the relationship. We like money.
Yeah, I get it, man. No, I get it. Yeah, because it's. I admit, I don't know as much about South Korea, man, and I know like with Singapore, Israel has a very good relationship from the very beginning,
Because
and
they like
helping
money.
Singapore. Yeah, Singapore. Yeah, but maybe. I mean, because but even back when Singapore just started, Israel was pretty instrumental in helping them get their military up, with technology and so forth. And even till this day, I saw earlier today, that the leader of Singapore was not saying, "Oh, I'm going to, just say a Palestinian state." He wasn't ready to do that yet. And he was one of the few people, like Japan, Singapore, Italy, Germany hasn't done it. And I just think that it's like we're starting to see which countries have had the woke left just completely take over, and or terrorism, just the terrorists take over, and which countries are able to still resist it.
Mhm.
So what did you have, like one situation though where you had an issue with a terrorist supporter, like a freak show trashy pro-Palestinian supporter? Did you meet one of these fanatic psychos in the street? Like, because it's interesting, how would you know this? Like, I'm just thinking, like, was it you were in the UK and you saw this? Like, what inspired this? What was it? Was there like one thing that inspired you to get so pissed off that you went like this?
Well, That's a twofold question. So I'll just say this. One of my experiences, my address has been doxed, which is like it's been made public online. So my house got ransacked, so I had to leave. And Edinburgh is a very small place. And it's true. They are the only culture that needs to behave like gangsters and like a cartel to defend their stupid ideas. So no doubt they try to intimidate you, but as I said, Islamophobia it is a stupid word. We don't have phobia, we have disgust. I feel disgust for the things that they do because it's barbaric by any human standard. It's inhumane. How you treat little girls. I cannot live beside a neighbor who thinks it's okay to have sex with a 9-year-old and marry a 6-year-old. I can't have a daughter and live beside a neighbor who thinks it's okay to kill somebody when they leave a religion. Uh, this is just common sense that we've lost in every single day dialogue. Why can't we just go back to the basics? It's like, oh, you think it's okay to have a 9-year-old? Well, you can fuck off then. Simple as that. I don't need a reason beyond that. I don't need a reason like to happen to me. I don't need some big, decisive moment. I found out about this culture. It's now gaining ground. They're the most populous. They breed like crazy, and it's overtaking the UK. And this insidious nature and warlike behavior, where breeding and ovaries and fertility is a function of jihad, accepted in the Quran. That's isn't it's a disease that and a mental illness that we should be fighting, no matter if something has to happen to you directly or not. And nothing's really directly happened to me. I just saw it. I love Christopher Hitchens. I love Sam Harris. Asians, we just like smart people in general. we like meritocracy, and when you inbreed, your IQ and your behavior is going to be very dumb. You're just going to be, Asians are going to just look at that and just go, "What is this stupid shit? Just get it away from us."
Yeah, and then so are you
No,
mixed also with Scottish?
I'm
Or is
fully
it you just
100% kimchi Korean,
yeah,
but I think just all that bacon and milk and cheese is just like warps me a little bit to be a bit. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. So what do people say? Have you walked around like that with the bacon on you? What do they say? Did a terrorist get scared of you when you
They're
do it?
just scared of me anyway. No, I'm joking. No, I don't do that. Like I've got my online personality, which is like I love entertaining people. But the serious side to me is that I'm a pretty I stay home. I practice my cello. I don't drink. I don't even drink coffee or tea. I don't take any sugar. I'm a really boring eater in the sense that I just eat like chicken and broccoli and just healthy veg. I don't really go out. I love to work. I love to work on things, and yeah, I'm a pretty chilled guy. So you know, when it comes to Muslims and Arabs and stuff, I don't really care. If we get on, I can chat with anybody, and I love to have a laugh. And I've got plenty of, you know, delightful people. I'm just going after this stupid ideology, uh, and when I see politics, it infuriates me, and I can't just do nothing. Right? I want to do something, and I'm just so glad that the British people have taken a chance on like you know, a half-naked Korean guy screaming at the top of his lungs, I may be hung like a chipmunk, but I've got enough balls to fight Islam. So I just want, yeah, I'm just really grateful. That's the only overwhelming feeling that I've got. It's not being scared. It's not being, um, you know, worried. It's just, wow, like people have given me a chance to say what they really want to say. Just because I'm, you know, I may get away with a lot more because I'm not white. But the support, you know, it brings a tear to your eye when you hear people just reaching out and just saying, you know, I love you, brother. You know, I mean, no homo. I'm not gay, but you know, but like
Yeah,
even when you
I
reach
know,
out,
man.
you know, and you say really kind words, and
Yeah.
you know, just I think men we go through quite a lonely existence, and it's quite rare that you have brotherly love, and brotherly love is so important, you know, that camaraderie, that kind of like I've got your back. And when you have an overwhelming amount of men reaching out and saying we care about you, we've got an eye on you, if something fucks up or if you get into danger, like we're actually going to come to your door and stand outside, you know, just to make sure that you feel safe. That these people are lovely, and I will do anything for them, genuinely, you know, because they deserve it, and I'm so honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's from what I understand, you're also coming down to Miami. Are you looking at doing some events next month?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, I've got an arrest warrant in the UK, so uh, well, it's not confirmed because I haven't got the letter actually through my door, because my door is just like, just my house is absolutely wrecked ever since my address got leaked. But it's most likely that I'll get arrested in the UK, so I can't go back. So I'll do what I can in America to try and keep spreading the message and try and be useful to the movement, which is keep Europe Christian. You know, if Europe falls, you know, you guys are next, and you can already see it in Dearborn, Michigan, some parts of Texas. You know, you can see it everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. In Newborn, you actually, you had the mayor of the in Michigan, where the guy was like telling this American that he was upset about the street not getting called like Osama something that was like a terrorist name, a guy
Yeah,
that terrorist.
Hezbollah name, Hezbollah. Yeah,
And he told the guy you could leave. He told the guy, hey, you know what? You could just leave, and we're going to celebrate you leaving, which I
yeah.
thought was just crazy, bro.
How dare he? Like, look, I've been in the UK for you know, since I was 3 months, but I don't consider myself a native Brit because I'm not. My ancestors didn't build the country. And that guy, the Dearborn, Michigan mayor, he needs to know his place. He needs to be humble. His ancestors did not build that land for him. Somebody else's ancestors built that land for the native people of Michigan. So how dare he tell the sons of those ancestors who built that land to leave? He's a guest in their home. You don't go to somebody else's home and behave like that. You don't tell that person who owns the home how to behave. You are the guest. You behave according to their laws and you respect their culture.
Yeah, yeah, it's a valid point, man. What when you see what's going on, just in general, like when you see what's going on with Israel, if you were an Israeli and they came in on October 7th, you were the leader of Israel, how would you handle it? If you were the leader for 6 months, how would you have handled them coming and, let's say, raping innocent Israeli girls, or South Korean girls? Like, it's just, imagine it's South Korea. Same thing happened. October 7th happened. How would you have handled it?
Well, you know, my DNA and ancestry is linked to Kim Jong Un. So
Dang, man.
you,
Dude,
you know,
dude.
have you ever seen Captain? Have you ever seen what's that show? Uh, America, fuck yeah! And then you've got that puppeteer, Kim Jong Un, that puppet Kim Jong Un. I'd be very similar to that puppet Kim Jong Un. I've got the similar disposition and IQ of that puppet Kim Jong Un. I would probably behave in the exact same way as he behaves. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough situation, man, and it's crazy because I honestly feel like the America should just leave the United Nations because at this point they're so anti-America. You know, when you have when it's an organization that has at least 23 Arab states that basically vote as a bloc, you know, and they're so disrespectful to the United States, and the United States actually hosts the United Nations,
That's
and I'm
ridiculous.
just it is ridiculous, man, and I think if the things keep going the way they're going, I could imagine South Korea, Japan, Singapore, India, Australia, Israel, and if Iran is liberated and it's a free country, then Iran. But I feel like these are countries that are going to have an alliance. When the Chinese Communist Party and Pakistan and Russia perhaps join in an alliance. If there's a world war, I think that South Korea is in such a vulnerable position that same with Japan. I mean, I feel like that whole Asia area, the Pacific theater, is so it's such a big ball game, and I think a lot of Americans haven't completely grasped it yet. And then at the same point, the Chinese Communist Party has essentially created a military headquarters in the middle of London. I mean, they literally got away with building plans to build a super embassy about 10x the size of their former embassy in the middle of London. I mean, and when the British people are asking, hey, what exactly is going to go in this Chinese Communist embassy? They basically just can give a fuck off. They can just not even disclose completely what they plan on doing. And they're just getting away with it. And when British intelligence says in 2023 that the Chinese commies have infiltrated every sector of their economy, what choice can they have? Starmer is potentially a commie himself. I mean, there's allegations that he was a part of the Communist Party, decades back. So you almost think like, are there communists in England that are is Starmer a commie? Is he stupid or is he actually favoring communism? I don't know, man. What do you think?
My opinion of
Yeah.
Just being a man, and knowing other men is
Yep.
that it's not like the ideology of a communism or um, what it is you've got weak men with a weak mindset who are apathetic. They don't have enough empathy or the gumption or the drive to make a difference. And that apathy and just willing to do nothing is so pervasive now. We're so sedated that evil rises. Because if you have evil intentions and you just put in a little bit more effort than the lazy bastard next to you, then you're going to be able to achieve great things. So Keir Starmer, I think he's weak. I think, I don't think he's a particularly bad man or has any mega ambitions. But that's the problem. He actually is just weak. He's like a limp cloth, it's like, oh right, yeah, I'll just let that happen. Oh, they want to build that? Yeah, okay, why not? It takes a lot of strength to kind of stick up for your values, and that's what we need to kind of bring back. I think is just bravery and that willingness to actually put yourself on the line, and that's historically what men have been good for. We've been good at self-sacrificing, and the more and more comfortable life we've had, we don't want to give up our comforts. So that's what I think. I think we've just become weak.
And then, so what do you see? What do you see coming in the next couple of years for the UK? With all the censorship, with people getting arrested, with Tommy Robinson looking at getting arrested again, potentially. Look, you see what's going on with just the volume of arrests in the UK is pretty alarming, right? I mean, it's like where's that going in the next year? I mean, are they going to arrest everyone who spoke up for then the next election? Everyone's scared to speak up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm, you
I,
actually have a home in the UK.
yeah,
What do you see?
I would say you can't underestimate the British people. These are the historical badasses that overtook the world and invented pretty much everything. When the time comes, you see 2 million or 3 million or more people march. You see incredible innovation and energy from British people, and the followers that we have, the everyday people that reach out, they're dying to do something. When they see their country like this, the heartbreak and the level of anger, we cannot underestimate, and something big is going to happen. That's why Conservative Party, we don't have two parties anymore. We're like one of the few countries that, like, we broke out of Conservative and Labour. Now we have a third party. There's a lot of things happening. The British people are angry. They're furious, and things are happening. The UK is ground zero, and I would say the UK, you better watch this country because they're amazing people. Like the most incredible people are in the UK, and they're gonna bloody well do something. Trust me, it's coming, absolutely coming.
What? It looks like there was another arrest recently. I'm going to play this here. 1 second here. Pull this up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Trying to charge my phone. Trying to balance on a cable. There we go.
Could you hear that? I think I'm a little bit technical difficulty here. Okay. 1 second here. 1 second. All right, here we go.
And I'm actually glad that you're here right now, because I think that, your broadcast put out a lot of truths, and that can be a dangerous thing. The truth is a dangerous thing when you're up against an enemy who doesn't want it out. And so I think this should be an issue, and I know the president has spoken about it, and the vice president has spoken about it. We need to demand free speech for our friends in Great Britain. It's incredibly important, and people should not be getting locked up for Facebook posts. No, you don't have free speech right now, and I'm actually glad that you're.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that, man? What she's talking about here?
Yeah, it's just absolutely unacceptable. It's, you don't believe it until it happens to you, unfortunately. But it's gone so bad. People, we're famous for it now. More people are locked up for free speech in the UK than Russia. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is it doesn't seem like it's going away. It seems like if anything, they're just making it worse and worse.
Yeah, well, I'm on the firing line, so I've told my family if I go to jail, so be it. I'm willing to pay the price, because this is the country that gave me a home. These are the people that raised me, and it's the least I can do for them. Speak the truth, and if it means I go to jail, then so be it. I'll deal with the consequences. I knew the price I would have to pay. I might whine a little bit just to stay in practice, but I will pay the price.
Yeah, and then so do you think that with these protests, are they going to get bigger in the UK, or what do you see coming? Because Trump just did a pretty big speech at the United Nations. Actually, I think it'd be dope if we look at that, man, because he went pretty hard on his
yeah,
UN
well, he doesn't
remarks.
like Sadiq Khan, does he? The London mayor, who's a twat. He built 40,000 homes for Muslims when, I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, British people, this is a Christian country. Respect Christian values. I mean, it's no competition really. It's not even about respect Christian values. Just like, don't let this shitty culture in. It's just a shit religion system, oppressive. Why let it in? Never mind Montesquieu's division of power. Division of power with secularity and the church. This is a silly culture. Like, we don't need it. We don't need it.
All right, here we go.
and I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here.
So apparently when Trump got up there
Yeah, it was pretty good.
today at the United Nations, yeah, I mean, what a coincidence. I mean, they're so disrespectful. They're so disrespectful. I hope that this scam of an agency, this organization, the United Nations, gets abolished and defunded, at least from our money, at least from America.
With you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble. Hello, Madam First Lady. Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term. Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents. An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here in the United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, and there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America. We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation like we've never had before. Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated. The only thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high. In fact,
bro, even here in Germany, man, the people who don't like Trump, it's like hard to deny how much the stocks have gone up, man. It's just hard to deny how much money we've been making with the people have been making with Trump.
Yeah, I'm making a buttload on Intel stocks right now. Thank you, Trump.
Yeah, bro.
High 48 times in the last short period of time. Growth is surging, manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done. And all of you in this room benefit by that, almost everybody. And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in more than 60 years. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? In 4 years of President Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid for $17 trillion.
Wow.
Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States. And it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've implemented the largest tax cuts in American history and the largest regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period. In my first term, I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best economy ever, history of the world. And I'm doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion. And for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been 0. Hard to believe, because if you look back just a year ago, it was millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, from prisons, from mental institutions, drug dealers, all over the world they came. They just poured into our country with the ridiculous open border policy of the Biden administration. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail, or you're going back to where you came from, or perhaps even further than that. You know what that means. I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've done in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country. And it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out. You have no choice. And other countries have no choice, because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration. It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. On the world stage, America is respected again like it has never been respected before. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. At the NATO summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending at my request from 2% to 5% of GDP, making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before. In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf, and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE and other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration has negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others. Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars. And in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there.
Everybody, we're looking at the Trump speech now at the United Nations today. Kevin, you still there, brother?
Yeah.
I can't see you for some reason. It's
All
black.
right. Can you see me?
There we
Right.
go. There we go. All right, 1 second.
I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is action. Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with the mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed in endless and unglorious wars. What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives.
Marco Rubio, man, really got a lot better. I remember when he was a presidential candidate, and now, man, he's just like, I remember when he used to get called Little Marco by Trump, and now he's just like such a leader, man. I mean, it's remarkable to see someone like Marco Rubio, man. He's just going so hard, and he's just taking the leadership to a whole another like league, you know?
Mm.
All right, I just want to play one little part here so we don't have to see this whole thing. There's a part where he goes hard. 1 second, brush it up a little bit. All right, here we go.
Here on out, this was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides every single week, from 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people, and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a war that should have never happened. It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. Look what happened to the United States, and look where we are right now in just a short period of time. The only question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy. Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United...
The thing is, Trump's going hard, bro, in front of like countries that just do not like us. You know, I personally, I'd like to see India and America get along much better. I understand we're fighting to get better tariffs. We're upset that India is buying the oil from Russia. But I think that it's much better not to antagonize India, man, because if India were to join Russia and get closer to China, I just think that makes it a lot harder for us, man. But then again, India has their own problems with Pakistan, man. India has their own problems with China. I mean, what do you think?
I love antagonizing India. It's good fun. I mean, look how dirty their rivers are. 200 billionaires. They've got over 200 billionaires, and so many millions of children are hungry, don't have access to clean water, education. The lack of empathy is truly extraordinary in that country. Yeah, good to piss off India a little bit, but not too much, because they are getting powerful. I balance how many enemies I have. You know, I could do with a few allies, and to be honest, my best friend is Indian. Avinash Yadav, wonderful guy, and it's the good Indians that get fucked over by bad Indians. So there's enemies within us all. Look at Korea. We can't talk. The biggest enemies are ourselves.
Yeah, man. I hear you. All right.
The United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But for those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures. I mean, you're much closer to this. We have an ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them. And it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here.
I mean, bro, you just understand, like Trump's doing this publicly. You could just imagine. I wish they would have showed the face of the Russians as he's saying this, but that, I guess that would have been a little bit too much entertainment, I guess, but they would have got maybe better ratings, man, if they showed the face of Russia as he's saying, don't buy Russian oil.
Mm-hmm. How much more of this are we going to watch?
It's about 10 more minutes here. And then,
right. And how long is the interview going to be? Because just it's 3 a.m. here. So.
Oh, yeah, man. You've been up late, man. You've been up late. All right. So
I'm happy to keep on talking, but yeah, we're going to watch 10 more minutes of this.
Yeah, that's it. Max,
okay,
bro.
Cool.
We'll make it even a little bit quicker, man. Everybody, just so you know, he's actually stayed up late to be able to do this. He's in Thailand. So it is actually late. 1 second here.
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
To hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth. As we seek to reduce the threat of dangerous weapons today, I'm also calling on every nation to join us in ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them, the world literally might come to an end. There would be no United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that worldwide catastrophe, many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention, which is going to be meeting with the top leaders of the world by pioneering an AI verification system that everyone can trust. Hopefully the UN can play a constructive role, and it will also be one of the early projects under AI. Let's see how good it is, because a lot of people are saying it could be one of the great things ever, but it also can be dangerous, but it can be put to tremendous use and tremendous good, and this would be an example of that. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody is ever, and nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law.
Wow.
But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders, as we do now, and to limit the sheer numbers of migrants entering their countries and paid for by the people of that nation that were there and that built that particular nation at the time.
So what do you think there, Kevin? I mean, this is it. That was basically the part where he's clearly talking about what's going on in the UK. So here's a question for you, man. When you're seeing these London leaders boast about like diversity, but then you got these ordinary Brits that are just seeing their neighborhoods just go beyond recognition at this point, right? Do you think it's basically a very similar disconnect that we Americans feel at the southern border?
It's I call it an invasion. It's because immigration without assimilation is invasion, and the UK is what I said on Sky News is being invaded, and if it was that many Koreans coming into the UK, I'd be fighting Koreans. Put it that way. It's true. Like, I wouldn't want a ton of us there. It's not about. It's just there's a number for everything, and it's just gone ridiculous at this point. The quality of life in the UK is turning into Pakistan. I mean, it's just okay. It's not that bad. It'll never be that bad because Pakistan is a dump. But it's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. So So what do you? So like when he was going hard on Mayor Khan, for example, the Pakistani, and then you see the new Home Secretary there that's coming in, that Starmer put in. You got your secretary, all the mayors that are coming from another country that don't have the same British values. It just seems like they have so much momentum, and it's actually just going to get more and more so before it spirals out of control. So, for example, when you yeah, man, I could understand how British people that make money are just leaving the country.
Well, why would you want to stay? I mean, if it's all gonna belong to Muslims, it's just yeah, it's just like why are we paying tax to Muslims? It's just nuts. Um,
I mean, do you think
there's
these?
only
I'm sorry.
tax only works if you feel like you're contributing to your tribe, and you know, for me, the way I see it, I want my tax money to go to the people that raised me. You know, I wanted to go to the culture that you know that I think is incredible. I don't want it to go to a foreign invader. So it's miserable to pay that amount of tax when you know it's going to building 40,000 Muslim homes. It's just not right, is it?
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer idea, bro, of like, do you think that the taxpayers in England should keep funding these expensive hotel bills and all this emergency housing? And then at the same point, the governments are fighting these like long legal battles. Um, or should the ministers just use detention centers and just deport them a lot faster?
Well, I'm just wondering how much does it cost to deport? It's like it's just everything's just costing a lot of money. It's just use the military. Just use the military to, you know, it's an invasion. These are military-age men coming over. It's not women and children. It's military-age men. It's an invasion. Treat it like an invasion. Use the military. You got the most incredible military is the British military. In the sense that it's got some of the best intelligence forces in the world. It's got some of the best technology, BA systems. They have all the technology, manpower, and the will to do it. They're just being cock blocked by this Labour government. Uh, as soon as the commander in chief, gets replaced, then I keep saying you can't underestimate how incredible the British people are. Um, they just it will change, and it will get done. You know, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's like when you also have a situation where these boats are coming in. You're right. These small boat crossings. If London really does feel changed, then which policy do you want to fix first? Are you going to have greater police, law enforcement, military looking at the small border, the small boat crossings, or the hotel accommodation costs, or the enforcement of these deportations? I mean, this is actually a pretty big issue because you guys are just getting invaded. It's like you're saying, to your point, there's just so much. They just keep coming. They just keep coming on these small boats, and
Well, it's even
yeah,
worse because the ones that are already here are breeding at a rate unimaginable. It's double, triple of the native population. So even if you stop all the boats, you still have the internal problem that the birth rate of their population is just gonna massively, outrun the native population. So what happens when the natives are having a birth rate of 1.4 or less, and they have a birth rate of over 3? What's gonna happen then? So you know, I always say this. I think white Christian men, their morals are just too good. That is love thy neighbor, and they're just wonderful people. And the British disposition is to be kind and empathetic. That's why you kind of need like what you need me. I'm not that nice. I just
yeah,
go in there just like piss off. I don't care. Piss off. You have a passport? I don't care. You look funny. No, joking. No, I wouldn't be like that. But No, but it's at the end of the day, you'd have to do very un-British things to achieve um stability in British culture. I'm just afraid that, you know, yeah, Christianity is fundamentally based on being a good human being and love thy neighbor. And that's what I really struggle with as a Christian. This might be kind of shooting myself in the foot, but one of the first tenets of Christ is love thy neighbor, and I can't say I do that. I can't stand this religion. I can't stand this culture, and I feel overwhelming anything but love. Anything but love for this, and the policies that need to be taken. It's going to be really harsh, because there's no other choice.
If you were like England secretary, if you were in charge of the borders in the UK, and
If
you're
I
looking
replace
at,
Shabana,
yeah, I mean, bro, you guys got like what, 30,000 to 45,000 small boat arrivals in the past few years or so. Which one would you actually go after first? Would you go after, let's say, faster removals and bilateral deals with France? Would you put tougher criminal penalties for the people who are actually smuggling them? Or would you do mass military deployments? What would you
no,
do?
I want the cheapest solution. I don't want to waste. I wouldn't waste British people's money. They need it. They need it for their homes and food and looking after building roads and potholes. I wouldn't waste any money. Just stop funding these families or whatever. Just get the military in. Just I don't want them to get here and then have to do court and like these beautiful Magna Carta and your rights to fair trial. These kind of things, they cost money and time. It has to be before that. It has to be axed before that. It has to be military. It's an invasion. It's war. It's a holy war. British people have been fighting this for the last 1,250 years. Prophet Muhammad came along in the 7th century. It's the most ancient war. British people have been fighting this for the longest time, and I'm not. I'm not British. I don't have that ancestry. But when they do finally, when they do fight back, and it's already happening, millions just marched. I think it's gonna be a military solution.
Yeah, 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 man. Because so we have a comment here from Batia. He says, "Stop funding their families through welfare programs. This is how they can
Start
manage
breeding.
breeding the kids. Unlike the natives who work much more than the foreigners who stay home with kids."
100% right. 100% right. They're having 11 kids on welfare and not working is just ridiculous. It's true. There's a video with 11 kids. I always say
Melody,
that.
Melody Moses was saying earlier that Michigan and Minnesota are basically so disgraceful. She says, "Unite the kingdom." Also, all right. So when you say you just said use the military, would you back a plan that would risk breaching? I think in the 1950s there was a like a UK legal duty to rescue people at sea. It was like a refugee convention. Somebody could look it up. But would you back that? Would you just say, fuck it, I'm going to breach it because I'm not going to let these boats of invaders come on our island? Or what would you do?
Well, there's loads of innovative solutions I'm sure they can get. You know, this is a country that achieved D-Day, beach landings, had the biggest naval empire in the world. Any naval solution the British people can come up with, I mean, they know how to deal with, you know, naval problems. So you don't need to just shoot them and then let them all drown. Of course not. You know, what needs to be done is there has to be an effective, cheap, scalable solution, and a naval solution, a military naval solution. And I'm not smart enough for that. But as I said, this is a Christian British people country with good values. They're going to come up with a solution that doesn't involve just, mass deaths. The people are not going to stand for that, but they're also not going to stand for, them being invaded. So innovative solutions to turn those boats back, to get these people away from the land.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say most British people in the UK, they would like military action to stop those small boats, right? Or no?
Yeah, they want whatever effective solution. They're very practical people. Does that work? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So if crossings are mostly adult men, do you believe the answer is soldiers on the coast, or just faster removals and doing deals with France?
No, just naval ships. They won't get to the coast. The British Navy is incredible. They won't get anywhere near the coast. We have radar. There's GPS tracking on everything, satellites. Like, before they even set off, it'll be stopped. If it's heading into the British direction of the British Isles, it'll be stopped.
Okay.
I'm not a military expert, but intelligence, AI, resources. I'm sure they can do it. They can do anything. Like, they really put their mind to. It is the British military.
So when you look at, so let's say you are a leader in the UK and you are in charge. I want to get an understanding of how important you think this is. Would you trade away the British taxpayer money for, let's say, housing, roads, and food, and then use that to fund a military campaign against the migrant invaders on these small
No,
boats?
yeah, no. There's already a military budget. I'd be efficient with the military budget that's already there, and put that into solving this crisis, invasion crisis. You know, again, this is a country that achieved D-Day. They can. This is like a reverse D-Day. Well, it's a D-Day for them, but to tell them to piss off. Maybe it's a mega microphone of British people saying "piss off" in Arabic. You know, along the coast. Just megaphones. Alu Akbar, piss off. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm sure they can find a very, very effective, cheap, scalable solution.
So you think that so you're saying it's just the money's there. It's just the military leaders of the British are saying they just don't want to do it. They don't want to stop the migrants. They're welcoming the migrants, perhaps, with these hotels and stuff like that.
There's not an issue of money. It's about management,
Yeah.
and that's always has been. It's just badly managed, and the wrong principles. But we'll get reform in. Britain will get sensible leaders in. It's about it's not even getting sensible leaders in. It's just getting the really shit ones out. you know, Even with a half baked government, it wouldn't be as bad as this. It's just disastrous.
So
Has
so
ended up.
so why do you think though? Why do you think Starmer, despite having all these hotels?
Weakness.
Yeah, I mean, think about it.
Weak.
All those hotels in the UK are full, right? They're full. The taxpayers are drained. They're getting hammered. So why do you think Starmer and other leaders in his party, Labor, for example, they want to keep bringing in more migrants, invaders, instead of stopping them?
I don't want to go down this direction of Starmer's evil, blah blah blah. I know a lot of people just absolutely despise him. For me, he's a weak little pleb who panders to an audience to get more votes. But I'm just a tiny ordinary citizen. I have no idea. I don't have any further up intel. I've got basically what I can see on the streets, which is there's a lot of people in letterboxes. There's a culture that's dying out. People are angry, and I don't have any intel. I'm just some normal average Joe, and I can't stand it when people say that. I know what's happening. No, I don't have any clue really, and I don't have any clue of the military or any of these things. I can just say, like, as an Asian dude who grew up in Scotland, uh, I just feel bad for the British people. I genuinely feel bad that they have their grandfathers and grandmothers thinking, shit, is this what we fought for? Is this what all our ancestors died during the war for? And I empathize because if that was the same in Korea, I would want a British person who's in Korea who saw that happening to Korea. I'd want a British person to be empathetic to that, you know, Korean situation. So as a Korean guy, I'm empathetic to the British people.
Yeah. So like one last thing here, man, and the floor is yours. If there's just, you know, when you're looking at what's going on and in the UK, what's like one last thing you would say to all the British people, man? Like, or just people in the West and people, what we can do to solve this. If you know, we don't have forever, right? So like the floor is yours. I mean, this is your final message, because I know you're up. It's about 3:30 in the morning. Thank you so much for staying up late, man. I appreciate it too.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
So
appreciate
please.
you to do this.
Man.
Just one of complete gratefulness, really. I had the magnificent honor and opportunity to grow up in Scotland. Edinburgh is a beautiful city with incredible architecture, culture, banter, wit, world class, you know, humor, and just the life quality is amazing. And it's a gift. It's a gift as a legal immigrant. I see it as a gift. And any legal immigrant should see it like that as well. But on the other side, to you know, the natives, it's an incredible culture that's been built by their ancestors, and they have an incredible history. And to be told that, oh, the British Empire is evil, well, piss off. No, the British Empire ended slavery. You know, they actively ended it. They didn't just end it. They fought. They fought to end it. You know, they cannibalized our navy. They sacrificed thousands of men who went to their deaths fighting the Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Arab empires to stop slavery, to free people. Is an incredible history with a legacy of World War One and Two, where some people are still alive from that generation and they still remember it. You know, the Great Wars. And just the pride, the to take away the pride of the average Brit from that, to disconnect them from that history, is 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 disgraceful. Is whoever's doing that should be bloody ashamed, because I'm a Korean guy and I wish my ancestors did that. If my ancestors did what their ancestors did, I'd be so damn proud. I'd be so proud. And that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, man. So where could everybody find you, man, if they want to, you know, get with you on social media and find your page? Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, no
And
worries.
by the way, my wife's a big fan of Edinburgh, man. That's one of the places she wants to go. She says it's such a beautiful city. I haven't been to Scotland. I've been to England a bunch, but I haven't been to
Yeah.
Scotland. She speaks very highly of it, man.
Right. Well, I'm gonna have to fix that. Edinburgh is 4 syllables.
Edinburgh.
Bara.
Borough.
Edinburgh. Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Edinburgh. Is that the Scottish accent?
Yeah, I actually, like, people from, you know, my Edinburgh friends, they just say Edinburgh, or Edinburgh. But it's kind of like between Edinburgh and Edinburgh, like kind of in the middle, Edinburgh, you know, Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
But probably Scottish people are looking at me and going, "Who's this twat trying to teach this accent?" But I look. Hopefully, I sound enough that I'm from Edinburgh to get away with this. But yeah, visit Edinburgh is a beautiful city, and it just you'll just see how stunning it is. Beautiful.
And where could everybody find you on social media? Sorry, man, I interrupted you.
Oh right, okay. At the Scottish Korean, so the Scottish Korean. There's only one of me. There was another guy, but I killed him.
All right, man. All right, man. Well, hey, man, this was a pleasure, everybody. Thank you all for locking in with us. And just so you all know what sort of person Kevin is, man. Kevin, we were going to do this stream a lot earlier, and he was like, "When do you think is best?" I was like, "Man, I feel bad asking you to stay up until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning." He's like, "Nah, just tell me when. I'm down." And that's passion. That's passion. That's the sort of guy that's going places, man, with that sort of passion. So thank you, man, and much respect for you, man. Sincerely. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. And you're moving to Overton Window. And it's beautiful to see, man. Thank you.
This or the no. Okay, bye.
See you, man.
Right, bye.
All right, guys. Thank you a lot. Hope you share this stream and like it and subscribe to my boy Kevin and my page if you like more of this content. Thank you, everybody.